Hey everybody, Al Norker here for KastKing Fishing, and we're going to continue our basics of fly fishing discussion by teaching you how to attach fly leader to your fly line, and then of course how to add additional tippet material to the end of your leader if you need to change diameter or add additional length. So to start with, we're using our Exergy fly line today, which has a micro loop on the end, which makes it very easy to add leader. Our leaders also have a loop connection, so what we're doing is we're making a loop-to-loop connection between fly line and fly leader, as opposed to a fly line that has a flat end that you have to tie a nail knot. I think that's a lot more difficult, so I encourage you to look for a fly line and leaders that have loop-to-loop connections. So we simply have a small connection here, a loop from the leader, a loop from the fly line. The loop from the leader lays over the top of the loop of the fly line. The end of the leader then goes through that hole, and we simply draw that up tight, and it makes this nice, very flat, small diameter connection. So it goes through your guides very, very easy, and it's very, very quick. I think this is probably the best way to make this connection between fly line and leader, and I encourage you to look for loop-to-loop connections. Now, when we need to add tippet material to the end of our fly leader. Remember, this is a tapered leader. So on this end where it connects with the fly line, it's very, very thick. On the opposite end where it connects to our flies, it's very, very thin. Now this happens to be a 9-foot leader, and it ends in a 5x diameter material. So it's pretty small, very good for all-around fishing. So let's say I want to add additional tippet material to either change diameter or add additional length to my leader. I can do that very easily. So here I have a small spool of tippet material. This happens to be a 6X material, and I've got a 5X leader. So I'm just going to pull off about 2 feet of that material, take my nipper, cut that off. Now, what's the best knot to use to attach my fly leader to my tippet material? Well, there's 2 different knots. The one I'm going to suggest you use is called a triple surgeon. It's a very easy knot to learn, and it's very strong and small diameter. And the way this works is we're going to take about 3 or 4 inches of my leader material, 3 or 4 inches of my tippet material, and we're going to lay those just right over the top of each other so that they're parallel. Now, I'm going to just run this through my mouth to get them slightly wet so they kind of stick together a little bit. Just like that. Now, I'm going to make one overhand loop, and I'm going to hold that connection in my hand right here. Then I'm going to take both the tippet material end and the tag end from the leader, and I'm going to push it right through this hole 3 times. Just like that. I'm going to hold that cross section in my right hand, and with my left hand, I'm going to grab both pieces of line and push it right through that hole. And I'm going to just do that 3 times. Just like that. Once that is done, I'm going to take those 2 tag ends, and I'm going to take the tag end and the leader material from this side, and I'm going to start pulling those tight. Now, before I pull it all the way tight, I want to encourage you to do something, and that is always get your knots wet. They'll be much stronger, and they slide together very easily when you do that. Just like that, you pull them together, and just like that, I've got a monofilament to monofilament or a fluorocarbon to fluorocarbon connection that's very, very strong, very thin, and then I simply take my nipper tool and I cut that tag end of both sides very, very close to that knot, and I've added additional length or changed diameter, and now I can simply add my fly and I'm ready to go fishing. Practice this at home. I think you're going to find it's quite easy, but it's always easier to practice home in a controlled environment as opposed to if the wind is blowing and your fingers are cold. Give it a try at home, get really good at it, so when you get out to the water you're going to be very quick at this process. I sure hope that we're making fly fishing as easy as possible for you. Stay tuned, we've got a lot more instructional videos coming up. I'm Al Norker for KastKing, and I hope to see you on the water really soon.